for anyone who just joined us, welcome to our conference today, Enduring Innovation, Entrepreneurs Unite. We're really, really excited to have you here, and thanks for spending your lunch hour with us. Just before I turn it over to Chef Angelo, who is our celebrity chef joining us today for our lunchtime session, I just want to go over a couple of housekeeping things. Number one, if you wiggle your mouse over the Zoom screen, you should see your toolbar pop up. And in that toolbar, there should be an icon that says chat. So you're going to want to click on that, and then that'll open up the chat box in the sidebar of your screen. And that's where we will be taking all of our Q&A today. And we love to get your questions. I cannot emphasize this enough. We love hearing from you. We love interacting with you during the session. So don't be shy. Even if you just want to comment, say cheers, say hi, whatever you want to do, the chat box is there for you. So we'll be answering those questions as we go today. Also, I will just share my screen real quick with you to let you know about a couple things. We do have our event page here on our website, which I've also posted the link to in our chat box. So if you're wondering what's coming up next in our conference agenda, just click on this link and you'll see all the speakers and all the panels that we have lined up for you today. And it's pretty exciting stuff, so definitely don't want to miss that. Also, if you are looking for more design resources, we do have our library on our website that is chock full of design articles and design resources for you guys. And these are written directly by our designers from our Sundberg-Ferar team here in Metro Detroit. And so these are told from perspectives of being in the trenches, working with clients every day on all sorts of different challenges. So that is available for you as well. And last but not least, I wanted to let you know that we do have our YouTube channel. So if you missed one of our previous virtual events, or you never want to miss a design talk from us, definitely make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We post everything on there. And so our virtual design conversations, with which some of you might have attended, our Industrial Design Thinking Tonight shows, which some of you might have attended, those are all on there. And for anyone who hasn't, those are really great sources of inspiration in design and innovation. So with that, I will hand it back over to you, Jivak.
Awesome. Thank you again for that. And without further ado, Mr. Chef Angelo, we can see your video. Do you want to unmute yourself? Awesome.
All right.
Good afternoon. Yours, Angelo.
How's everyone doing?
I think we're doing really good. We had a great start in the morning. We had cello performances. We have live sketching demonstration. And literally, I love business and design, but I'm really looking forward to this amazing lunch hour session with you. Sorry for being a little bit late on our time, but I hope you understand.
No worries at all. Thanks for having me. I'd like to be a part of this right here. Right now, we got the mask on. We're social distancing as much as we can over here in the kitchen. My name's Angelo Loria. I'm the executive chef at Vincent Joe's Gourmet Market. Behind me, all around me, are my inspiration. But what got me to here was I've been here for about 5 years. Before here, I was at the Grosse Pointe War Memorial. Before that, the Fox Theater. Before that, Oakland Hills Country Club. Before that, just like every other executive chef, I have a degree in computer engineering. I was in automotive for 10 years before making the transition to a job that I get to say I get to come in and cook every day. My job is maybe not as sexy as you would see on TV. With there is some yelling, but you know, it's passion. We've got people that we work with that are passionate about their job, passionate about cooking. We've got people who run this gourmet market that are passionate about their job, passionate about whether it's honey, whether it's a cheese, whether it's an olive. We're passionate about everything we do. And so whether you're in my industry and the industry that you're in right now, it's all about passion. If you don't have that passion, you are not you're not reaching your full potential. You're not living the dream. So I've never been so excited to work 14 hours a day, almost eight days a week. But I love my job. Every day I look forward to coming into work. So hopefully all of you are feeling that same way too. What I want to talk about today is you know, maybe pull the curtain back a little bit as to what really goes on in the professional kitchen, but also to talk about what we can do to make your life easy. My kids have been in virtual school now for 4 days, and my wife looks 30 years older, and it's bad. My recycling bin is full of wine bottles and alcohol bottles. It's just not good. So what I want to do is try to make your life easier on the food aspect of it, so at least, you know, they're getting nutrition with all the heavy drinking going on in everyone's house right now.
I completely second that, Angelo. The amount of stress, at least some of the younger parents are having with their kids off the school, in the house, and trying to wrestle with technology and other things is mind-boggling. I mean, I feel your pain, and I think there are many people like us who feel that pain. And if you can elevate some of that through meal prep or tips and planning, that will be really, really great. By the way, for how long were you with Ford Motor Company, you said?
I was with Ford Motor Company for 10 years. So I'm an official, retired, fully vested employee of Ford Motor Company. So one day I'm going to retire when the government says we can at age 75 or 85. I'll be able to retire with all the benefits that the previous generations have to.
Is this the way how it happened? Like I, by the way, people might be knowing this, but I was born in India, and I was born in a very stereotypical family. My mom a doctor, my father a doctor. They named all our kids on doctor names, and they wanted us to be only doctors, nothing else. By the way, I became eventually a black sheep, and I came over to design. Was it something similar in your world where there was an expectation from this amazing, brilliant Italian kid, and now your passion was always cooking? How did this happen?
So it just started by in a traditional Italian household. The girls do the work. So the mom and the sisters, the mom and the daughters, grandmother, if she's living with you. We had 3 boys, so I'm the youngest one, so I got to pull that card, and so I'd help out at home. I'd help clean. I'd help cook. We'd help out as much as we can around the house, outside in the garden. So we were we didn't live a privileged life at all growing up. My father came here to get a better life for his children that he didn't even meet yet. He met my mom when she was here, so it's not like they came over as a couple, wanted to do better. He came over here, wanted to do better for his future family that he had no idea he was going to have or not. So that was the whole idea about coming to here. But yeah, no, black sheep, absolutely. So a quick funny story is I told my mom I wanted to go away to college. All my friends were going to Western Michigan University, and I wanted to go. And she said, fine, you can go, but only if you get a full ride academic scholarship. I get a full ride academic scholarship. She says, you still can't go. You have to stay home, go to Open University. So
they always get you.
They always get you on that. I was like Lucy and Charlie Brown, just keep pulling that football away, and I keep missing. But I have to say it was probably the best decision I could ever do. I had a great time at Open University. Worked at Ford throughout the whole part. Took a buyout in 2007 from Ford Motor Company, and that's what brings me. They pay for my culinary classes. So that being said, I love what I do. I cook for a living. We work with absolutely great people here. So it's a lot of fun. But what I want to talk about is food. And how you can make things less stressful. So we've got all this right here sitting on my station that I actually prepped. And these are different things that you can have. But I'm going to show you how to turn these things on our table here into a meal for a week. And whether it's cheating by grabbing one of our pre-done meals, grabbing a rotisserie chicken, or even getting the vegetables and yourself and cooking them at home, making a nice salad with some beans behind there. There's ways to do this where you prep once, you're good for 3 days, 3-4 days, by cooking smart. You know, if your life is so full of events that you don't have time to cook, then it's time for you. Hopefully you're infinitely rich. You can bring in that personal chef. Or just make things easier on yourself, because it gets to the point too where you end up making, we do a healthy food class here, you end up making poor food decisions where you're not you're not thinking wisely, like you're just thinking about convenience. And our food here is extremely convenient. You can pick up the prep food here that's house made, go home and you can cook it from scratch. You can warm it up in literally a half hour, if not less. But sometimes we pass by the Golden Arches or the Golden Arcs, or you pass by the Burger King, you pass by all these places, and you think, oh, this is quick, this is better, when you're paying just as much money, if not more, and it's making you feel like what you ate. And so our goal is to make sure it's healthy, make sure it's healthier, I should say, not necessarily we put cream and butter and everything because it's just good for you. But we do that for you because we want it's from scratch. It's like your mom, it's like your grandma, your dad, whoever does the cooking, and for us, and for our family and for our culture, being Italian, not Irish, everyone, Italian with Angelo Loria. It's all about food is community. Food is what brings everyone together, no matter what it is. Whether it's sharing a ginger beer with your neighbor or a Polish beer with your other neighbor, you want to make sure that everyone feels included, and it's the memory around that food. The food's going to be great because someone else made it. Even if they burn whatever it is, food's going to be great. It's the memories you spend in having that food, and hopefully give you some ideas here. I've also sent a recipe pack to GVAC to pass out to everyone. It's from our kids cooking camp. During pre-COVID days, we had kids cooking camps here, and we'd have about 15 kids in here, and we'd have their parents drop them off, and we had their parents leave because parents and kids don't mix well when they're trying to learn. Kids do better for other people. My kids do better for other parents and then other people's kids do better for me. Just because you see each other all the time, they know to push your buttons. And so our 3-day camp doesn't give them enough time to figure out what can upset me or what pushes my buttons. So 3 days, then we send them back off. But we do in-school work with this camp, and then we do give them homework too. So with the homework we give them, they go home, they cook for their family that night, and they come back and report it, what they've cooked and how it turned out. And it's always a smash hit, whether it's pasta, buttermilk fried chicken, profiteroles, desserts, the whole gamut of stuff. So that's what we're trying to do. So with that earlier screen we had talked about, we got a bunch of raw ingredients. So we took some of those raw ingredients. We took the eggplant, we chopped it up. We got some mushrooms here. We took that chicken and we pulled it real quick. We got brown rice, some pasta, some of that roasted corn, some tomatoes chopped up. We've got some tamari, gluten-free soy sauce. We've got a nice Korean barbecue marinade, but it's also a great stir-fry sauce. We've got some eggs here too. So with what you saw over there, we're going to cook in probably 10 minutes. We're going to cook 3 different styles, 3 different ethnicities, 3 different types of cuisines from around the world. We're going to do Italian, we're going to do Korean, and we're going to do a little bit of stir-fry, some fried rice. So I put everyone on notice ahead of time, but
Angelo, you went on mute.
So we've got 3 pans on here. We're going to cook everything at the same time because we want to get this thing done in a timely fashion here. So we put the oil down. So they all basically start the same. We've got our oil in the pans. We get our pans nice and hot before we start adding ingredients to it. So for our fried rice, we're going to add some mushrooms. And then for our Korean dish, we're going to add some mushrooms too. So we'll start off there. And feel free to ask questions if you can't understand me. I'm Italian, I talk fast. It's really hard for me to talk. I feel like I'm partially muted because I'm only able to talk with one hand right now. So I usually talk with both hands. So I'm trying to keep it as stable as possible.
You are doing really good, Angelo,
for you
talking
guys
with
there.
just one hand.
So we've got that going. And then we're going to put our eggplant. And here they're going to put our eggplant a little bit in the Korean dish as well. It's very funny or very, I don't know if funny is the right word. But can you hear me? Am I back?
We can hear you. We just lost you for a moment.
Okay. So a lot of these dishes, it's a lot of the same ingredients. It's just you follow your way around the hemisphere, and then the poverty aspect of it is the filler you add in there. So for the Italian culture, pasta, polenta are big things. For a lot of the Asian culture, it's going to be rice. You'll have couscous. You'll have different kinds of fillers. You have potatoes for the Irish. What's the filler that's going to make your dish hearty and fill up the bellies and make it less expensive? And now that there's a whole big movement in the culinary scene about the food more humble type of food, because we use everything. So back in the day, you'd be able to add some carrots to our fried rice. Back in the day, you'd be able to get certain cuts of meat for a good price point. Now it became chic and in vogue, and so it's very difficult to get it for that price point anymore. So now you have to get creative, find something else. Well, eventually, a cow's only got a certain amount of parts. A pig's only got a certain amount of parts. Chicken, you know, from the nails to the beak, we try to use everything. But now the stuff that used to be cheap, used to be able to get, we used to take chicken legs and make chicken stock out of it, became just as expensive as a chicken breast. So, which is you kind of trying to figure, they have all these chicken breasts, what are they doing with all the feet and all the rest of the parts?
Yeah, I
okay,
think
so we've got all that going in. Go ahead.
Angelo, yeah, we have a couple of questions coming up. I think right now Lanya did send the recipe list for the kids cooking class, but the question is, where you typically do your youth cooking classes? Do you host them during this time? What are their ages and what are the locations? Is it only your location or the other locations also?
So all the cooking camps are done here at Shelby Township location, located on 25 in Van Dyke in beautiful Shelby Township. We also, and so that's during the summer. So usually it would be the first week kids get out of school in the summer. Parents love having their kids so much that on the first week, we sell out within a day or two, and we have a wait list of about 40, 50 kids because their parents love them so much, they want to push them to a kids camp right away because they love them so much, want to spend so much time, but want them away for a little bit too.
And what is the typical age bracket for the youth classes? How young is too young?
You know, you know what? I've had my 6-year-old in here. I've had 5-year-olds in here before. We like the 8 to 12 range, but you know, it matters on the maturity of the kid. If the kid's a mature kid, then I don't think it's a bad idea to get them in here as early as possible. Because you have to start learning. You know, especially now with schools being online and cutting backs. You're going to see more and more cutbacks of different things. Where are we going to send our kids to learn how to cook? Because we're busy. We have 2 working parents. Who's showing the kids how to work? Hopefully at home, but if the parents are busy and they're picking up food, how are we going to show our kids basic life essentials? Writing a check. How's all that going to happen?
I think what you're
so now
saying.
We're going to add a little bit of tomatoes to the Italian dish there.
Yeah. So again, coming back to the element of
try this at home. Absolutely try it at home. No. Add some corn to our fried rice. Gonna add an egg.
So Angelo, also about from the perspective of the earlier element that you were saying about the food, the community, the memories around the table. One more element is about the nutritional aspects of home cooking too. So I think just fundamental that level, adding that with the youth classes, you in a way help train the youth to understand what they can do when they are in their dorm, when they are away, they can still try to make sure they cook something beautiful and something nutritional also. I think right now, did we lose you? Angelo? I think he must have, he's cooking, talking. Yeah.
Okay, here we're back again.
Yeah, you're back again. Yeah, thank you for that. Did you catch my entire question or should I repeat?
I did not, no.
No, it was not a question. It was just a comment. You started with the element of community and memories and getting people together. That's a great aspect, but also other aspect is right now where we are, let's say as American nation too, the obesity and the way we make our food choices are somewhat obscure. So having youth classes and teaching the kids and bringing the right kind of and nutritional benefits and values to the home also is a pretty major task. So thanks for youth classes.
Absolutely, and the thing is when I tell parents that their kids are going to be taking a whole chicken, using a knife and cutting it down, to a parent of a 7-year-old and a guy in a white coat that's associated with, you know, it's always good to see the fear on their face when I hand the kid the knife. We'll take a video of it. We'll show the parent, and they can't believe what their kid can do. Well, you know, our kids are amazing, and super intelligent sponges. And if we show them to do something, make them feel they're a part of it, they're gonna want to take part in cooking. And so, If you can get your kid to cook at a young age, that means breakfast in bed, that means dinner in bed, that means brunch in bed. So it's using your resources, all the resources you have at home.
I like that idea. Actually, I should now enforce that as a part of a chore in the house too, and maybe
Exactly.
you can help me doing that. Another element that just comes to the mind as we are talking through, and let us know when I need to stop talking and not disturb you.
You're all good.
As you are a chef, and right now we are looking at a commercial kitchen. When you are cooking at your home, it's a normal everyday kitchen. How do you feel paralyzed if you are not in your own commercial kitchen to prepare food? Means how is the equipment and the lack of it any variable in how good you cook or not good you cook?
No, you know, you just make do with what you got. So when I was at the country club, we had to do a dinner on the 18th hole. On most 18th holes, and including the country club I was at, there was no absolutely kitchen out there. So you had to make your own kitchen. So I've cooked in kitchens that we've started from wood. I've cooked in a private dinner in Grosse Pointe in a kitchen where the stove was purchased in 1965 and worked great. So you just make do with what you got too. So the kitchen at our house is a nice kitchen, but by no means it's something like, it's not a 8-burner stove with a bunch of digital cook ovens and all that. So just adding a little bit of Korean sauce there, and so you just make do with what you got. And so not having the right equipment shouldn't be an excuse for not eating right, for not eating the way that you know my parents raised us to eat. You know, so it's
Angelo,
I can understand.
You're not helping me here. I was trying to build a case and tell my wife in saying like, hey, I cannot cook as good as Angelo because I don't have a commercial kitchen as good as his. So now I have to think of something.
But I can be paid off to be a liar. So if you need me to tell her whatever you need to tell her, it's not a problem at all.
Okay, I will grab a bottle of wine and I will.
So there's our pasta.
Wow.
And again, the best part about this is just the prep time. You know, there's prepping ahead of time. You know, there's our fried rice.
So a couple of questions on the board. So why were you cooking a few mushrooms at a time? That because they should brown evenly, or is there some other reason?
So just so that you're you should never overcrowd your pan. You should cook them, and that way they'll cook evenly. But you want to make sure you don't overcrowd the pan. And two, it just matters how many people you're cooking for. I want to show how you can have this recipe. You can cook for 1, you can cook for 10, you can cook for a family of 4. You can cook for as many as you want to, and you can expand on it too. You got guests coming over that you weren't expecting. You end up just throwing more vegetables in, throw in more rice. Make sure, right now, everyone's gardens, go to your neighbor's garden, steal some of their vegetables. I got a neighbor that's got a great garden by Bear Creek. We steal his vegetables all the time. It's awesome. But you do what you can, and it gets to a point where you got so many vegetables, you've got so much stuff, you don't know what to do with it. So if you get creative in trying to preserve them, you blanch off some of your vegetables, you end up cooking them off and freezing them, making sure you're able to enjoy the goodness of the Michigan harvest, which is a very short harvest, but I think it's the best in the world, and eating that in the up until the next harvest time. So my parents have about an acre and a half garden. They harvest everything. They preserve everything. There's not one piece of vegetable that's grown there goes to waste. Whether they give it away or they cook it off, and they make sure that everyone's got a share. But you'll go there and we'll have vegetables from their garden. Pretty much anytime in the winter, we'll go there and she'll make soup for the kids using zucchini and squash and some Italian vegetables, green. So you always want to make sure that you've got everything you need as you're going along, and making sure that you have the good stuff. So here's just what we do to kind of stay ahead of it. We've got a tray of Brussels sprouts, and we got a tray of carrots already cooked off here. We do this ahead of time. We sell all of our prepared foods cold, so we chill it off. We bring it here, then we're going to bring it out there for people to eat. But You can do the same thing at home. You could cook off a tray of Brussels sprouts, carrots, whatever, add spices to it or not. And then you can you can keep it neutral. You can turn it into whatever you like it to turn into, which just makes it more convenient. If you have a bag of chips and you have a potato that's not peeled, you're going to go for the bag of chips. If you have, pick any other kind of food that you shouldn't be eating all the time, or if you have something like this beautiful salad right here that's just made from corn, canned beans, cucumbers, and a simple dressing, you're going to go for that instead of. But if it takes too much time to prepare as you're hungry, you're not going to do it. You're going to make the not best food choice, I should say.
So Angelo, you did the prep a little bit beforehand. How much time did it take to do the prepping of the ingredients? Because even even for chopping things or getting them ready, at least me, I'm an amateur here. It takes time for me. So how is your time? Absolutely. And what might be the time to expect for me?
So for my time, I started prepping at about 11 o'clock, 11:15. We had some, we feed some local schools that are in session right now. There's a Lutheran school and there's a Catholic school that we feed. So we did their lunch and we bring them pre-packed lunch from here. So hot lunches from here. And so I started about 11:15, got everything ready by about 11:45. But again, if you're at home, and everyone's got that time where they sit on the couch or they go on to TikTok or go on to Facebook or that time, and you can still do that stuff, but you can do it while you're actually prepping. You've got something as simple as everyone's got that guilty pleasure show they watch. Could be Desperate Housewives, it could be Dancing with the Stars, it could be The Bachelor, The Bachelorette. This right here is dressing. I've got 2/3 oil, 1/3 balsamic vinegar, but it could be 2/3 whatever kind of oil you want, and 1/3 whatever kind of acid you want, whether it's orange juice, whether it's lemon juice, whatever kind of acid you want. Mix it together, give it a good shake, and now you've got your balsamic dressing there. You can add garlic to it. You can add your herbs from your garden to it. You can add your herbs from your neighbor's garden to it. You can add Dijon mustard. You can add whatever you want could go into this dressing here. And you can add avocados and they won't turn brown, kind of cream it out a little bit. So you've got a whole plethora of ideas for a dressing. Make a dressing once a week. If you just have fresh salad dressing made once a week, and that's an easy way for you to snack on some vegetables. Your kids will learn how to dip in there, and it's kind of an easy way to stay on the right course. And right here is another use we have for rice. So we had a brown rice over there. We had a white rice over there. Here, this is arboreal rice. So this is what you would make your traditional risotto with. So what we're doing now is we're making typical Sicilian cuisine. It's something called an arancini. Arancinis are they're called arancini, which means little orange. Once you fry these up, they look like a little orange after you bread them. But it's having nothing go to waste. So when we have a little bit of extra rice or risotto, we try to utilize that as much as possible, just like we do at home. Americans waste about 1/3 of the groceries they buy. So 1/3 of the food that you buy, you throw away, which is a terrible, terrible thing. What we try to do here is try to keep that waste between 3 and 5%, if not lower, which is extremely difficult because fresh produce goes to waste very quickly. But at home, there should be no reason for it. What we're doing is we're shopping. And I know with these times now, you don't want to head to the stores many times, but now we have curbside. Now they have delivery of groceries. So you should be, I always recommend shopping 3 or 4 times a week, planning for 2 or 3 days, even if it's just twice a week, just breaking that up a little bit because fresh produce, especially if it's organic, goes bad quickly. Some of the traditional stuff can last a while, and it lasts a while for a reason.
So Angelo, the statistics that you said about so much grocery food goes to waste, means apart from it going waste pretty earlier, why is it so much? It's unbelievable. That's a pretty big percentage.
Yeah, so Americans, we buy with our eyes. We're being sold in quantities that are so big. You go to Costco and I buy lettuce, but you don't just buy 1 head of lettuce. You buy 18 heads of lettuce. And so what are you going to do with 18 heads of lettuce in 5 days before it goes bad? If you've got rabbits, great idea. You've got horses, farm animals, it's all good. But if you don't, then what's your plan for it? So sometimes you get, maybe it might be a great bargain for getting that stuff from a bulk store if you use it. If you don't use it, then what happens?
You're right. One more question I think we had was about, and this might be a naive question for you, but I typically get intimidated by just looking at the entire assortment of the chef's knives, and it's nice for this and knife for that. I know there would be a special use for that, but for me, for doing something what you are doing over there, do I need any special equipment like that 18 knife set or 21 knife set?
Only if you're like some people who think that you need it just to make your house look a little nicer. It goes great in the corner. It collects good dust and that sort of stuff too. What you need in your house is probably 2 to 3 knives. One of the knives is this knife right over here that Ferris is using. And Ferris is getting some of our chipsteak. This is more food that I grew up on. And you take a cut of meat that's not a steak. You take a roast, you cut it thin. You grill it real quick, put some breading on it because we bread everything. And you've got a delicious, what I had growing up all the time. But as far as knives, a chef knife like this is great. You know, they have all the ones with the fancy wood handles, and it's signed by Henry Winkler or Bob the Toolman Taylor or whoever's signing all this stuff. And you can get those. They're absolutely wonderful knives. But a knife like this, for you to start off with, is all you really need. A paring knife, and maybe a serrated knife to cut bread. But you can cut bread with that knife as well.
Got it. So the 3 dishes that you did, can you show them again and just explain?
Sure. So right here, this is our fried rice. We've got mushrooms. We've got some roasted corn. We've got some carrots in there with the pulled chicken that we pulled from our rotisserie chicken that we had leftovers from the night before. Here we've got our Korean dish. We've got eggplant. We put some brown rice in there with a little bit of Korean marinade. And so Korean marinade is different than on the Chinese side, because the Korean, they use a lot of fruit juices in their marinades in there and when they cook. So there's pineapple juice and kiwi juice is prevalent when it comes to Korean cuisine when they're making their marinades and for their cooking sauces. And here is a dish that I grew up on myself. My mom would just take tomatoes. She'd take eggplant, she'd fry them up, she'd add the pasta to it, and then that's what we would have for dinner. You know, people try to be funny and say, "Oh, did you grow up eating pasta every day?" And absolutely, I did. 100%. We grew up eating pasta every single day. But it was never the same pasta for 2 weeks. It was pasta with some other kind of vegetable, or pasta with red sauce, or pasta with meat sauce, or pasta with pesto. It's like Forrest Gump and the shrimp. There's, you got shrimp scampi, you've got, all these different types of ways you can create one dish, because no one wants to have the same thing over and over again. Very good, very good. We got our carrots going out there right now.
I know those carrots.
Yeah, and we've got, no one wants to eat the same thing. And then as far as nutrient-wise, if you're eating the same thing over and over again, your body's not getting what it needs. So we eat to get full. We eat what we like, but we also have to eat to fuel our body. Our body is the most precious thing we have, and I know that your studio hasn't designed the human body yet, but it's a very difficult specimen to design. So until we get one designed in a design studio, this is the one that we got. So we got to fuel this billion-dollar machine the best we can. And not saying that you can't have joy in life. It just means moderation in everything. And what helps is eating with and surrounding yourself, but eating with people that you enjoy breaking bread with. The most enjoyable dinner you can have could be a piece of bread, some olives, and some cheese. But if you've got people that are just wonderful people around you, it's family, it's friends, it's the best meal you've ever had.
And I remember, Angelo, you have a pretty good kind of, I would say, fundamentals of not just making food look delicious and elegant, but also the nutritional value of it. And you're making a great point is, our bodies are precious. We have to take care of it. There are only three elements of the health, fitness, and nutrition. The nutrition becomes a pretty important part. Means, yeah, fitness has to be there. I know every morning you get up and you do your rocky stuff as such. But to make sure that whatever sweating you are doing in the gym in the morning for 45 minutes or 1 hour as such, you cannot negate that throughout the day by putting junk in the same body. And there you know the efforts that you do to burn 34 calories or 35 calories and have just one single chip of potato or something like that.
Yeah. So my diet, I've lost 40 pounds since about February. I've done it the right way, lost a couple pounds a week. But my diet before then was eating good food like I always do. But I'd always throw in, maybe 2 or 3 Cokes, and I'd always go test out the Oreos or some kind of dessert in the bakery over here. And our bakery is absolutely amazing. So you cut that out. You add some good food decisions by not checking whether or not the Oreos are stale or not, because we pass that job over to someone else. But if you do that, and again, it's not my idea of dieting is it's almost like it is a 4-letter word to me. I think it's dieting is stops eventually. Eventually, you have to stop. So someone who doesn't eat the carbs or doesn't eat bread or doesn't eat this or doesn't eat that, eventually when you go back to that, it doesn't turn out good. It's like a bad car wreck. So just eating what you want to eat in moderation. There's a bunch of websites out there too that'll let you know what's the right amount to eat and how it should be prepared, the portions you need, eating the rainbow, all the things that we teach the kids during the cooking classes. We adults need to live by it too. If we eat like junk, our kids are gonna eat like junk too. But if like my parents used to say, that's dinner, and if you don't like what's on the table, you can have this later because it's still gonna be on the table for you. So there's no you try not to act like it's a restaurant. My daughter, my oldest one especially, she's open to eat everything. We went out to dinner maybe about a year ago. We were doing a walkthrough for an event that we were doing. And I took her with me. We stopped at a restaurant, and for appetizers alone, and she's expensive, for appetizers alone, she got grilled octopus and Asian-style pork belly. And then for dinner, she got lamb chops. So I've never taken her on another event with me again to walk through because it's just way too expensive.
No, but that's interesting choices. You're right. Means it's not walking. You have to walk the talk. Also, the parents are making bad choices in the food, and you're just scolding them, saying, "No, you eat your broccoli. It's never going to cut in everything. It might be in just a lawn maintenance, or it might be food, or it might be fitness. Also, you have to show it, and then they have to follow it, and then they have to I would say go to professionals in that world to take that art better. Right? Means there's only so much I can teach in good cooking, but now I know about the youth class.
Again, the most important thing is don't neglect yourself from anything. If you want a cookie, eat that cookie, but just eat one cookie. I had an old boss who would get the Nutritional's cookies. He's like, they're good for you, and he'd eat the entire box. Well, that's not good for you anymore because now you're just becoming too indulgent. It's almost it's just, you can't eat that way. In moderation, 1 cookie, 2 cookies, but don't turn it into a Dr. Seuss song.
You're right, moderation also, and I'm also a little bit more into the fitness world too. People sometimes just come and try to sweat for an hour just because they say, what's their motivation? No, I want to go in the evening and eat junk food. Yeah. So it's not the right way of motivation also. Yeah. Means, as you're saying it, there might be Friday evening, Saturday evenings, you can eat at a party. You should not be, you should still enjoy life. But then there are other 6 days or 5.5 days where if you do all the right things, then at the time you can go and just really enjoy the foods that you love and crave.
Absolutely, yeah. No, that's a good way to go by it too. So if you neglect yourself from everything, and my brother-in-law does this all the time. He'll go on a diet. He was on this fasting diet where he was only eating for like literally a half hour a day. He's only between 1 and 1:30. And I said, when you fall off this, I want to bring a big tub of popcorn because this is going to be the best train wreck I've ever seen in my life. And eventually it was. But if you just sustain yourself by eating good food, there's good food everywhere. We sell a ton of great food here, whether you want it to prep it all on your own. But we have that prep side done too. If you want to make fajitas, but you don't feel like cutting peppers, we've got peppers with fajita sauce. If you want coleslaw, but you don't feel like chopping up the coleslaw, we've got it with the creamy dressing, and we got it just plain where you can make your own dressing without the cream. Whatever step or process you want to eat at, it's here at our market. Other markets too, I'm sure, not as good quality. Everyone, Vincent goes to every market, but they've got it too. So they can make your job so much easier. We take pride here, and a lot of other stores can, especially the bigger ones, as we cut all of our fruit in-house. We cut all of our meat in-house. We grind all of our meat in-house. Every fruit tray, every vegetable tray is made here in the store. Our ranch dressing we make here at the store in this kitchen, because my kids eat it, friends and family's kids eat it, and we want to make sure that everyone's really got stuff that I would eat at my table. I would never serve anything that I wouldn't serve to my family.
I think you made the point over there. Means the kids get the kits from I think when the COVID was at highest, you had some amazing kits as a grocery box you can just buy, and then kids and parents can help cook them. It was simply delicious and absolutely delicious. The other point that you made a while ago about, and I should really 2 points. One is about food now literally is climbing up the value ladder, especially because right now we are surrounded by COVID, and COVID has exposed the fragileness of our American health system. Already we had obese numbers were pretty high, diabetes and all the other things. And because of those things, which underlying element is still fitness and food, it exposed the immunity system of our population. So I think going forward, trying to be mindful and thoughtful about what you put in your mouth, every morsel, understanding what's going to affect you and your health and your insurance and the money you save. It's an amazing thing. And it goes all back to the bare facts you're saying about watching what you eat, understanding what you do, and doing it yourself and buying good quality ingredients from a local store.
And knowing where your food comes from too. We can walk the entire store here, and someone in the store will be able to tell you where everything comes from. Our organic food, our organic vegetables and fruit right now, our organic vegetables comes from Martin Farms over 34, I think, in Romeo Plank, right by Blake's. They're organic farmer. We go and visit them a couple times a year, make sure they're growing what we want them to grow, and they'll harvest and they'll bring down for us 4 or 5 bushels a day. Once we sell out, we call them back and that we need more. So last year they grew a mix for us that we didn't necessarily sell well. So we changed up the mix on what he planted for us this year. So we planted that eggplant that we saw earlier. It's a Sicilian eggplant. It's purple. It's not your traditional eggplant you might see. Look like that. But this right here has got great flavor. So we grew an organic one of that for us. It's knowing what's in where your fish is harvested from, where your beef comes from, making sure that all of that where it comes from. The government a few years ago removed the requirement that you had to notify people where their food came from. So in here we can just say pears, we can just say apples, and not tell you where anything comes from. But we list on every single price tag, every single thing out there, what their country of origin is. Because if it's from a country that might not have the most legitimate sort of handling of food, if it's a country that might put lead in their toys, or a country that's known for maybe not treating their own people well, why would you want to support that country or the way things are harvested, or if it's a local fishery that is not dolphin safe, or a place that doesn't treat their employees, treat their animals like you want them to be, like they should be treated. Because remember, a happy cow makes great milk. You want to make sure that it's treated in a way that you want, and that's what we care about too. And we may have some of the commodity stuff that might be the price might be a little bit better, but it's very far and few in between. Where we have Amish farmers that grow that bring us our maple syrup, that bring us our grass-fed beef. So for us, we take great cares of it.
So Angelo, you are an actual hands-on and executive chef. are you also in charge of going to these farms and checking up their supply chain? Means, is it how are you structured together as a kitchen and as a grocery store? You also are involved with that decision making?
So all the managers here are involved in everything too. But you know, like right now and for the past 2 years, the sex is the sexy job. The chef is the sexy job, right? So they send the chef out there too to talk to him. Looks great on social media. But I do take a personal care as to what we're doing. That's why pre-COVID we had a registered dietitian come in here, and we do a fresh start class here, and we talk about different recipes, different themes on how to eat right for the Super Bowl, or make sure that you're using what's in season. So it's a personal care for myself, just for the fact that I've got a family and I've got kids, and I want to make sure that they're eating well. The Martin Family Farms, where we get our organic vegetables from, I asked him when we were up there, I said, well, why did you go? He was a teacher that came from Iowa. His wife's from the area. She wanted to move back. He said, if I can move back with you, but I want to open this farm, and I want to open this farm. So he opened the farm. And the reason he went organic is the first time he saw his daughter grab a tomato from the vine and put it in her mouth, he wanted to make sure there was nothing bad in there that could harm her at all, whether she washed it or not. So that was his passion behind it. That's my passion for what I do, is making sure that my family, my friends, but especially my kids are well nourished and know how to make good food choices on their own.
I'm so glad that you mentioned having a chef go there. It's a sexy job. It looks good on the social media. I'm so glad I'm not a chef and you are, because this is in no way so sexy as you are. So I think they hired you because of how handsome you look, not because of anything else. So it is what it is.
Right now we have the oil and the hotness and the steam going here. I got a nice glaze about my face over here too.
So I have been into commercial kitchens, but the most I know is through my kids' movies like Ratatouille or something. So is it the same way that there is a main chef, the sous chef, and how is the structure in a commercial kitchen, and how do you help out together as a team? Means as a studio, we work and collaborate with each other. We know everybody has an important role. It might be chopping in a certain way or not. What is the team dynamics at your kitchen?
So it's sort of the same thing. We've got a sous chef, maybe not as many chefs as that fancy fresh kitchen did, but we've got someone here. So we got someone who does our prep. So she's prepping up our arancini, and later on she'll be cutting up some peppers, tomatoes, potatoes, doing all that sort of stuff, making sure that when the main cooking crew comes in tomorrow morning at 6, they're running and ready to go. From our kitchen back there, we've got our soup guy all the way in the back. We've got another gentleman working on some other salads. We got a gentleman there working on some salads. Kevin's is one of our sous, and he's working on grill. So by grilling, he's cooked off a whole bunch of chicken with a whole bunch more stuff that he's cooked off today, and we'll sell all of this today and have to start all again tomorrow. Mm-hmm. We got the most important guy in the kitchen, which is our dishwasher, working hard on that. We've got people over here, specialists. We've got a frying specialist who works on frying a lot of our foods, or sauteing a lot of our foods. Our Italian specialist, where she's working on lasagnas and cannellonis and stuff that you would see in a traditional Italian kitchen. Yeah. So we got everyone's got their tasks, and then we also do catering here too. So every weekend we give everyone a prep list as to catering, as to what they're doing. So not only will they do their station, but they'll also get a prep list like this, talking about the name, what time I want the pasta, how much pasta, what time I want to put it in how they're going to cook it in the water, and then what time I expect it to be ready for the party. Wow. So I like saying that I write prep lists, so I don't have to talk to anyone during the day, because if I'm stopping and talking to someone, I'm missing out on making sure that our employees, not our employees, but our guests have the best quality food they have too. So it's being organized up front.
No, actually, I'm seeing a lot of similarities. You're handling a design studio in a way, right? I mean, it's people, it's process, it's the products. At the end of the day, they have to be in a certain kind of a value structure also. And the way you mobilize the team, the way you have a couple of your milestone checks. And as you said, not just meal prep, but planning even for the meal prep planning every day, and not in a way wasting time in just talking, because that's one-on-one time. Here you can engage one on many time. That's pretty That's super amazing. I think I had means we have, let's say, only 6 more minutes. I will try to cram as many questions as I'm getting. The one was about you said about managing the load, right? Means just like a studio. Let's say when not Halloween, but Thanksgiving comes. That's when suddenly you have a super dense load of turkeys or something like that. So how do you manage these super high dense festivals which come in and out literally every quarter or every other month?
So we do it is by getting the orders, pre-ordering it. So on Thanksgiving, the entire store is closed except for catering. You drive up and you've ordered your turkey, hopefully ahead of time. Not hopefully, you have to order it ahead of time. We can't make it for you for the most part. We've always got a few extra because we got customers that come through and people forget it's Thanksgiving, I guess. I don't know, but so we've got customers, they'll come through. We'll have their, they'll get a walkie-talkie back here and they'll say, Givok's here for his turkey dinner. No problem. We'll load all of your stuff into a box. We'll check it out here in the kitchen on the way up. They'll grab all the cold food. They'll check it out there. And then they'll check it out one more time if they load it into your car. Send you on your way. And you'll be enjoying that along with the Lions loss every Thanksgiving. It's like clockwork. But also on a day like that, I'll probably cook off anywhere from 300 to 400 turkeys. Coming about 4 in the morning. We'll cook turkeys off in about 3-4 batches. We've got a large deck oven where I tried to go over there, but this phone doesn't work over there. But it's a large deck oven where we cook our breads. But that day we're not cooking any breads. We're just cooking turkeys in there too. So I can cook about 100 at a time.
That's pretty amazing. You mentioned about you being a fitness freak, and you recently lost 40 pounds, and I think a couple of pounds more is still your goal. So one thing, and just an observation, you will do extremely bad if you want to do a job in India, because over there in the rural parts of India, they only hire a chef seeing how fat he is. I'm not messing this up. If he is a thin, fit guy, the chances of him getting hired by a good, I would say, institution are extremely less. So somehow they just have to maintain their identity of being a pot-bellied chef, or they call the Maharaja over there. So I'm glad you are here in the land land of opportunity.
I was fat before. I was big before, so I lost the weight now. So no, that's what they say here too. No one trusts a skinny chef, and so I'll put on a fat suit. I'll tell everyone that I got I got really sick, and that's why I lost all the weight. I plan on gaining it all back. If anyone's questioning my fitness.
Yeah, I mean, I am not actually. I would love to actually get food from a fitness chef, and I think that kind of an trend might be very more obvious as such too. Couple of smaller things. I will to close it out, I will request you to give some smaller collective nuggets of wisdom for people like us to think about. You already are telling a lot as we are going through, but before that, I forgot to mention to the audience, last week actually, when I was over at your place, Sarafina told me very proudly that, Mr. Jivak, do you know my dad, that's you, were honored to be the best chef for this year by the Hour magazine. That's incredible, Angelo. I did not knew that, and the way she was telling me with an amazing sense of pride was simply amazing. I said, like, wow, I'm so it's nice to have you on our conference.
Well, we're proud of the store. The store, not only just mine and my award, but the store won 9 awards in total, from best gourmet market to best produce, best meat, best fish, best place to buy beer, wine. So we're proud of the whole thing too. And I think a lot of times a chef, the quarterback for the Lions and the goaltender for the Red Wings get way too much blame and way too much credit. So way too much blame when things go wrong and way too much credit when things go right. I've got a great team here. And without this team that I showed you here, none of this, no awards for the store or for myself are really, it's their award. It's really not mine. So I am proud to be part of this team.
So you're not only handsome and sexy, you're humble also. That's nice to know. That's absolutely nice to know. So any parting kind of thoughts for amateurs like us who want to be now more into the kitchen? Any collective thoughts or closing thoughts there, Angelo?
Yeah. So my thought is, okay, so we're here at this conference. You're going to listen to me if you haven't signed off already. What are you going to bring back? So on our social media, on Instagram, tag us with what you're cooking tonight, whether it's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or whether it's a glass of water, or it's a beer. Tag us with what you're cooking at Vincent Joe's, hashtag Vincent Joe's Gourmet. You can see that Vincent Joe's Gourmet Market. And then let us know what you're cooking. But the main takeaway is life is too short to eat bad food and drink bad wine and drink bad ginger beer. So make sure you have the not the best, because Julia Child said if she wouldn't drink, if she doesn't drink with it, she's not going to cook with it. Julia Child was a multi-millionaire, and so she can afford all the expensive stuff. There's whatever's in season is going to be cheap. Right now, corn is 10 years for $2. It's cheap. In January, corn's going to be $1 an ear. Don't buy it then. Buy it now. Freeze it. But just anything you take out of this is eat good, drink good, and just be happy and love your family.
Awesome. I did get the list from you for the youth cooking classes recipes. Yep. So I did send it to all the participants. We will also send it to all the RSVP elements too. So I think as Angelo was saying, it might be anything you might be doing for dinner, especially if you're doing something from the list or the recipes that he's sharing with us. Tag them and let people know about your renewed enthusiasm for cooking beautiful and healthy food as such. So once again, Angelo, it was as beautiful and as enchanting as ever to have a live demonstration and actually having a peek through in the behind the curtains. I think that's literally amazing to see the space, the passion, the energy, your team as such. So thanks for doing that. And when I start to drink, I will buy my first wine from you.
So until then, we got ginger beer waiting for you.
Okay, ginger beer is always there, but when it is, I will ask you for your recommendation for that amazing wine to start a complete different journey. Once again, thank you. Feel free to be on the line. If you are, just unmute and unvideo yourself, but we'll keep in touch.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Amazing.